Is 8:01 on a Friday morning. My fancy coffee mug is not heating anymore. So that stinks. I guess I'm going to have a claim to that old warranty department. Anyway, it's going to be one of those weekends where we're going to be sitting inside watching the winds howling outside as we've got quite a little storm system firing up. Right now, a live look outside in Melbourne. Camera bouncing around. It is already gusty, and as a matter of fact, it's going to be a gusty forecast over the next couple of days. First warning, live Doppler radar, not tracking too much. A couple of little showers, kind of see it coming in here to Brevard County. I'll zoom in just a little bit. Nothing too bad. Certainly not going to ruin our plans for a Friday morning. But the winds have been and will continue to be howling. Here's a look, as a matter of fact, at the live winds. Yesterday had gusts definitely to tropical storm strength. We're going to continue to watch some of those tropical storm strength winds over the course of this weekend. As Cindy puts it, yeah, it's a little storm. So before we get into the discussions of that little storm, let's just kind of get through our forecast today, okay? Windy conditions, once again, 25, 30, even higher gusts. I'm going to go fly today. At least the wind's down the runway. Mostly cloudy skies, a few passing showers, temperatures climbing into the lower 70s. But yeah, we're going to be watching this storm system getting together out there in the Gulf of Mexico. This is all right on par for when and where and how it's supposed to be doing. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. For now, just a bunch of clouds streaming over the peninsula. A little bit of rain down in South Florida, but we're doing pretty okay here. But that storm system gets its act together. So, some Cliff's notes on kind of what we're looking at here. All right, storm system gears up in the Gulf of Mexico and works our direction. We're already seeing many of these kind of peripheral impacts, but we're just going to see them kind of building more and more. All right, high surf and seas already the case. If there's any question, we can go back to that tower cam shot. Beach erosion, certainly a thing. Winds already running 25 to 35 with gusts 45 to 50 this weekend as that little storm system fires up. And then there's also now this threat for severe weather from about Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning. Now, I will tell you that we are going to be staffing around the clock in the weather department. Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi will be joining Marquise Mita in the evenings, and then Kellyanne's filling in for me in the morning on Sunday, and meteorologist Cam Tran will be joining. So, and look, I mean, you know, I'm not going to completely be out of things. It's my first weekend off in 5 months, and I mean, if it looks terrible, then let's face it, you know, I'm gonna have to work. But for now, it looks, you know, to the point where I don't need to pop in. But if I do, I certainly will do that. So that's where we're at. Cindy's asking, what's your gut saying? You think it's going to go more toward the GFS track or the Euro track? Most I've seen it's leaning more Euro. Well, we're going to be looking at all of that, right? Here on Coffee Talk. We're going to be kind of diving into all the raw model data and why there is this concern, right, for some severe weather. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, in terms of severe weather, let's just chat a little bit about it. Okay? Oh, not finished yet. That's funny. It says do not finish. I'm like, what? Anyway, so in terms of severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded the severe weather threat to a level 2 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms from basically the Orlando metro area off to the south. Now, I will add to the fact that this is kind of in line more with a European type scenario. This is to be expected. So scattered. That means on a level 2 risk for strong to severe storms. This means that several of those storms could, say, generate isolated tornadoes or damaging winds or hail to that point. So let's look at this. Let's look at the threat breakdown for Central Florida, okay? This is kind of where the Storm Prediction Center thinks. The tornado threat and the damaging wind threat. Those are the elements that are of concern looking ahead to tomorrow, okay? We're probably going to end up having to call it a first warning weather day or first warning weather weekend, right? If they haven't done so already. Looks like they have done it. I'm just pulling up the 7-day forecast. Yeah, it looks like we have. So that makes sense. So because we're under that level 2 risk, we are now calling it a first warning weather weekend. So what does this mean, right? We've known that it's going to be a crummy weekend, but now that things are starting to come into focus, the threat for severe weather is growing just a little bit, okay? Are we all on board with that? So here's kind of the timeline of events. So for today, cloudy and windy. Yeah, it's not going to be too bad. Tomorrow morning, you'll even be fine. Like for me, we'll be doing coffee talk. Probably won't be too bad. And maybe I'll even get a walk in with the family. After that, it's going to be like the afternoon, evening, overnight to Sunday morning. That's when some of the worst weather is going to be moving in and impacting Central Florida. So let's do this then, okay? Let me dial up our Futurecast model. Oh, I clicked one over. Stand by. All right, here we are. So here's our Futurecast model. Now, I tweeted this morning. So if you want to be able to pause it and all of that, just go back in my Twitter timeline. All right, so this is Futurecast, and what it's showing is wind gusts, clouds, and rain. So through today, we're fine. Clouds, another gusty wind just like yesterday, right? Then we get into tomorrow morning. All right, let's just stop it at 8:30. Here we are. We're going to be doing coffee talk tomorrow morning. A couple of showers south of town, not too bad. Still gusty, right? Then we get to about lunchtime, and ironically, tomorrow's the Wesh employee family Christmas party where like Santa's at the station and all the families and the kids get together. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll be at work. Even though it's my off day, I'll still be at work with the kids doing this thing. And there you go. Some rains are starting to move in. This is not the timeline yet, though, that we're expecting things to get too strong. Watch how the colors are really going to start brightening up. There's 4:30, 5 o'clock. There you go. Chief Meteorologist Tony Monalfi and Marquise Mita tracking these storms. 6, 7, you see that? With wind gusts pretty decently, right? Yeah. Continuing, 8, 9, you see how this is getting rough? 10, 11 o'clock, right? Yeah, that's rough. That's nasty. There's midnight, 1 a.m., stormy weather. Look at that. That's 1 a.m. And I will also add to the fact that Futurecast has really dialed up, I think, the intensity a little bit on this. So that's, and that's gusting 37, 40 miles an hour, right? Continuing on like 2, 3, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., clearing on out, and then some drier air moving in during the day Sunday, and we just get a few showers. So it really looks like it's going to be more of a Saturday afternoon, evening, and overnight kind of time frame. So when we look at things, at the moment, you've kind of got this GFS versus Euro thought process, which one ends up playing out a little more or a little less. But either way, my friends, we're basically just looking at this storm system marching in. It's going to bring some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and the potential of severe weather. All right, so I'm going to pause for a second, and we can chat it out. If you don't mind, I've got my protein shake on ice. I'm just going to take it out since my coffee is, bear with me, y'all. I'm in my car. Let me get my napkin and wipe this off. Hold on. Glove box. Stand by. All right. Since my coffee's already cold, I'm used to it being hot. I'm just going to drink my protein shake. So anyway, yeah, cats living with dogs, mass hysteria, right? All right. So questions that you all have, and certainly we'll dive into. Let me close the door. Somebody kidnaps me. Questions that you all may have about this storm system. Can't believe you're flying in this wind. There are other planes flying. It's down the runway. If it was a crosswind like yesterday, that'd be a thing. I canceled my flight yesterday. Can I say I prefer those coffee talk days when weather is a nothing burger? I know. So yeah, I know. So there's a storm system. So this makes me think, is this is an indicator for a strong hurricane next season? So Brian, great question. This is definitely going to be one of those things to watch for come next hurricane season. And as a matter of fact, if we go back, so this is tomorrow. So if we go back, it would be like October 22nd. So let me do this. Give me 2 seconds. And I'll pull this up for y'all. October 22nd. All right. Copy. Let me just set this up so that I can put it on the air for you. Browser. There we go. Give me 2 seconds. Wait a minute. Where is it? With Coffee Talk is you're going to get Oh, that's why. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'm doing this wrong. Plus browser scrape. Okay, there we go. When you're doing Coffee Talk without the like organization and prep work, what you end up with is something that's not 100% professional, and I apologize for that. Okay, so this is the weather map from October 22nd. All right, so you've got kind of this little front. The 23rd, there's still a front over top of us. 24th, it kind of goes off to the east. A little bit of rain around, a little troughiness east of us, and then it kind of moves on out. So there's not like a huge indication. Like there we go, like right in here. You've kind of got this storm system from the Gulf crossing, and you've kind of got this storm system east of us. So this is what I think it is. You kind of see that front and that area of low pressure north of us, right? So it's around like the Halloween type weather pattern time. That's kind of what this is around the Halloween weather pattern. So 47 to 52 days is kind of what we're looking at. If we want a professional, we would watch you on TV. Yeah, I mean, when we're doing the Coffee Talk, you're basically just getting whatever the heck we're putting together, and that a lot of the time is not the most professional environment. All right, so that's the storm system. Let's do a couple of other analysis items. The first thing, of course, let's look at the wind energy. And we were looking at this yesterday, the wind gust potential. All right, so as the storm system kind of comes in, and you'll watch those colors as we're starting to, during Saturday afternoon, you can very clearly see that as the storm system's moving in, we're getting more of this energy upstairs. Now, what this is looking at is wind gust energy. So basically, it's the gusty winds at about 850 millibars, so about 15% of the way up the atmosphere from us. But the way that this plays out is some of those like to try and move their way down and can mix down to the surface. So yeah, sometimes I wish TV was more like Coffee Talk. I actually, what's funny though, Chris, on that level, our talent consultants have actually wanted me to be just like I am on Coffee Talk on TV. So if you hear me being less professional, not less professional, but like less robotic on TV, that's why. So kind of interesting. I think it's kind of interesting, at least, how TV has changed. Joe says, amazing, you can pull this off from your car technology. Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So there's 9:30. You can kind of see that storm energy building. Watch how through there's midnight, that storm energy is continuing to build. And then through the kind of overnight, we're keeping that energy around, right? Like you can see through 10 a.m., depending on exact, right? And depending on trajectory. But all this is telling me as a meteorologist, right, is that like we're going to have the opportunity for some of that severe weather, say late Saturday into early Sunday. Okay. So that's the storm wind gust energy. Okay. Which is why when we look to the Storm Prediction Center's outline for tomorrow's severe weather threats, you've got the damaging wind potential. And they're highlighting particularly from about basically cutting right through the center of our coverage area, our southern areas with the elevated risk, we'll say. But they're also now starting to highlight tornadoes as things are coming into focus. So let's do this. This is a product called the Significant Tornado Parameter, STP. Okay, not Stone Temple Pilots. All right, I'm just going to roll through this. Okay, maybe I need to just fast forward. Of course, it's not running it. Maybe it's too far out for this. Hold on. Yeah, it's too. Actually, I don't know. Was there a specific run? Oh, here we are. So it's not. Yeah, it's just a little too far outside. So hold on. We've got a few other versions of this we can look at. All right, our rotation product. This, among other things, is looking at what's called helicity. So, according to our Futurecast's helicity product, it honestly looks like thunderstorm wind gusts would be the greatest threat Saturday late, and then Sunday morning we're going to have some elevated elements of helicity. Let's see. I'm just looking. There's a few products. I want to look at the vorticity products. Again, this is all stuff. This is all stuff that we do behind the scenes. But one thing to remember is when we look when I launched Coffee Talk, the purpose of it was absolutely to just look at computer models with you. I was looking at the computer models by myself. The only difference is now I'm doing it and chatting with you, and I'm doing just some analysis with y'all. Yes, we've got little pieces of spin. There's the interesting one. Is that secondary one right in there? You see that those red colors coming in Sunday morning? That last little piece of energy. That's on the GFS versus the European. Give it a second to load. All right, so that's Friday. See that spin working through. It's got to go buffer the data. So give it a few seconds to buffer the data out of the internet. Yeah, the viewer. Yeah, wow. I see almost 700 people watching this morning. Hi, good morning, everybody. We're just looking at some severe weather parameters together. Yeah, I love that song too, Jenny. Mr. Bob Newell, why are forecasts so inaccurate? You're adorable, Bob. I love that for you. If you think that they're inaccurate, thank you. Yeah, so notice the European still has that kind of like back little piece of energy. So basically we've got these little like multiple opportunities. So there's Saturday afternoon, we've got some spin, some shear in the atmosphere, and then you get this big push Sunday, the first part of the day Sunday. So what I'm seeing is, and if we go to our Futurecast, I think that this should lay out nicely. What I'm seeing here is, we'll just go through today. Saturday afternoon, rain. Saturday late afternoon, you get into some wind gusts. And then it looks like by Sunday morning, anything around Sunday morning may have that little extra spin that could develop a tornado. Does that make sense? So like the first threat's going to be the straight line winds, and then afterward we'll look at some threats for rotating storms. And for those that are asking why it's so inaccurate, it's adorable because I think we're pretty daggone good, you ask me. It's forecasting the future, for goodness sake, with science and computers. Yeah, that's amazing. All right, let's see here. The wonky stuff bounces. The mom comments. Look, we're just doing our thing. Yeah, very colorful maps. Very colorful maps. So Crystal's asking, like, how bad will Ocala get? You know, for now, here's the deal. Gusty winds, very heavy rainfall. It's going to be a crummy weekend. I think that's the takeaway, especially Saturday and then Sunday morning. You know, through Sunday afternoon, we're going to look better and better and better, right? But Saturday is going to be a crummy weather day. So I've already, you know, like I wanted to be out at the theme parks. I just don't think that that's going to happen for me, right? All right, so let's start talking about some of our zones, all right? So let's start here with Marion, Sumter, and Lake counties, all right? Worst of the weather Saturday afternoon / evening. Really, it's going to be Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Gusts to 35, 1 to 3 inches, and 4 inches plus isolated. We'll be watching that threat for severe weather on Saturday night. All right. All right. Into the metro area. You know, I think that Seminole, Orange counties definitely watching that severe threat. But the further south you go into Osceola, for now, that's where we're really watching it. All right. Gusts to 45, 2 to 4 inches with isolated, 5 inches of rain Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning. And then for us along the Space Coast, down to the Treasure Coast, I think that's where we're going to have the biggest threat for severe weather along our coastal communities. Could see 6 inches of rain, especially down in Brevard County. It's going to be some crummy, again, Saturday is going to be the crummy weather day. All right, and that's why we've called this a first warning weather day for Saturday. Really Saturday afternoon, evening into the overnight, into Sunday morning. Wind gusts and even an isolated tornado is the main concern. Yeah. All right. All right, let's get to more of your comments. Yeah, Arlena says Southern Lake here, not excited. Do not like tornadoes or wind. I mean, certainly I don't either. I don't think any of us do. But look, we're going to be okay. It's a storm system. We get storm systems. That's all. That's all. Cecilia, good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah. Oh, I know, Bill. Trolls are going to troll. Listen, you can't have a bridge if you don't have a troll trying to toll. Oh man. All right, let's see here. Good morning to you, Jeannie. Debbie, good morning to you. Any word on flight delays into MCL? You know, it's going to come down to just how low, if the visibility gets to like IFR conditions, or if there's any lightning in the area. Those are going to be the elements necessary for delays. So we'll watch it and see how that plays out. Yeah. Do you think the threat may get upgraded to level 3 out of 5? Mickey's asking. You know, I'll tell you, 98's tornado outbreak was a level 2. The 07 tornado outbreak was a level 2. The only time I've been in television in Florida for 22 years. The only time we ever had a level 5 risk for severe weather, a higher, like I was expecting a terrible weather event. There was not one tornado. So this is why you have to approach weather in Florida almost with a little bit of sarcasm, with almost a little bit of a joke, right? Like Florida's going to Florida. So to me, I'm almost a little more afraid of a level 2 risk because, you know, you're on the borderline, right? Like, you know, you've got some of the ingredients. The level 5, when you have everything, I've only ever seen Florida say like, nah, we're not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm almost more of afraid of a level 2 where it's like, the ingredients are there. And then it's up to Mother Nature to either tap into it or not. And sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't, right? And so definitely don't undercut a level 2 risk for strong to severe storms. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. One kid doing delivery Saturday night, the other working Universal, praying it's not that serious, worrying mama. Don't worry. Listen, We've already had the gusty winds. We've had that all day yesterday. We're going to have that again today. Okay? We're fine. We're just going to have to watch and see how the other stuff gets in there. And we get nerdy today or tomorrow and look at some of the soundings and photographs. Oh, Mickey, you want to do that? Today, yeah, we'll definitely do that tomorrow. What we can do, I'm just trying to think if there's a way for me to put that, because it's using like scripts and stuff. I don't know that I can pull up the model data for it on the broadcast here. Let me see if I can do this. Forecasts. I'm just trying to see if I can pull that up on here. I don't know that I can. Yeah, no sounding data. Let's see. Let me switch over to the GFS. I'm just trying to get it to where I can show you the model soundings. Switch over to the GFS. I don't know that I can do this on the broadcast. Let me try this. I'm going to try it. No promise that it'll work. If I do that, and then I do this. And I do that. Will that work? All right. So Pivotal Weather is a great little weather nerd website. Oh, it actually looks like it will work. KMCO. KMCO. Okay. KMCO, enter. All right. I actually think that this is going to work. So Pivotal Weather is the website that I'm going to be using for this. Okay. And so here's the model data. This is based off the GFS. Okay. This is based off the GFS, and what we're looking for here, if this works, that's crazy. And I think it will. All right, so what I'm going to do, so this is essentially like the forecast model guidance off the GFS, and what we're doing is we're looking at severe weather parameters. All right, so let's just go through time. This is kind of getting, so what is this? This is, oh my gosh, on my computer screen. That's 12 hours out. What you're looking at on the left is this QT log P. What you're looking at on the right is the hodograph. It shows wind shear and all these different things. So we'll just kind of go through time. 18 hours out. Getting through. That's 24 hours out. So that's tomorrow morning. Now we're starting to get into a situation. You've got the turning winds for sure. All right. Nothing met you look, see, we've got the goalpost, but it's pretty high up in the atmosphere tomorrow. 30 hours out. Still, pretty moist atmosphere. There we go. Moisture all the way down to the surface. Right? We're getting there. 36 hours out. All right, now we're you can see we're definitely, look how we're moistening down to the surface. So on the left, here's I'm like holding it up to my head. Okay. So on the left, and I know this is like Blair Witch Project style stuff. So on the left, what you're looking at is the red line and the green line. That's the temperature and the dew point spread. Okay. And you can see how toward the bottom, they kind of get apart, right? You see that there? Watch how they get closer together and closer together. So now what we end up with is a super moistened atmosphere almost all the way up. Okay. Now we're starting to get into a severe kind of setup. Definitely kind of seeing that almost like a little temperature inversion. Yeah. Definitely shearing with height, right? No like significant hail, but yeah. You see how we've got like some drier air in the mid. So that's 45 hours out. We'll go to like 48 hours out. So it's definitely, yeah, weak supersail development. You see the little goalpost there at like 300 millibars. So some drier air aloft, and then the hodograph kind of showing some turning with height. So there's definitely some element there for severe weather. And if you're like completely out to lunch and completely confused on what we're looking at, this is just some of the stuff we look at in the background. I love when people tell me not to say moist. Like I have never understood that. That's just it's a part of the weather world. It's like telling a pilot not to say the word fly. What? You can't do that. So anyway, it's kind of an interesting, it's kind of an interesting photograph. It says to me that we've got some dynamics there, right? Brian says, every time these storm systems come through, it makes me feel better about spending almost 10 grand to take down tall oak trees next to my house. It just makes you worry. That's all. Yeah. It just makes you worry if these are tall oak trees and that sort of thing, right? I get that. I get that. You know? So this is some of the nerd stuff that we look at. Definitely showing some turning, definitely showing some elements there of severe. Um, Either way, my friends, either way, it's just gonna be a crummy weekend. If I just keep going, I just want to look and see if there's any other like big indicators. Yeah, so then it's fine. That's 51. Now let me go back, switch from the GFS. The HER, it's too far out for the HER. Hold on. Let's do this. We'll go to the European. No sounding, of course. The standard European, no. What about the European high res? Can I get some sounding data, please? No sounding data. So it's just the GFS you're just throwing it out on? What about the NAM? Get some sounding data off the NAM. Oh, awesome. METAR will do KMCO, which is the Orlando weather station, right? All right. I just want to look. Thrill me, just roll with me, people. And I know I'm not talking, I'll answer your questions and all that, but if we're going to do some storm analysis, then let's do some storm analysis, right? All right. So again, just looking, and I'm gonna just look at this as best I can because I'm on my laptop. That's 3 hours out. Let's go 20. Let's go like 30 hours out. There we go. Now we're going to be getting into some of that time frame. All right, hold on. Let me just scroll that way I can see it. All right. All right, so that's 33, 36. See how it's moistening down to the surface, right? All right, let's keep going. Definitely showing some turning. Keep going. Nothing big. Moistening up that atmosphere. This is 45 hours out. So that's going to be Saturday evening. There we go. Yep. Still there. Still seeing some indicators. 51 hours out. Yeah. I mean, this isn't a home run, but we're definitely looking. Now notice there the NAM is giving you a pretty decent turn with height there on the top left box there. Even on the top right you can see, the NAM is absolutely starting to show more of a tornado threat, right? Yeah. Yeah. Turning winds with height, a nice lifting mechanism, nice moist atmosphere. And this is, little by little will be clearing out. So yeah. So, long story long here. The indicators are there more and more. All right, enough of that. Questions. Let's see here. Just use a little. Let's see here. I work labor and delivery. I know all about. Christy, I don't understand. I'm going to continue to say the word. I can't not. It's a part of what we do. Oh man. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything, my friends? Anything? Should we prepare for outages with this storm? Look, anytime you get some nasty storms, it's a possibility for sure. So yeah, I mean, I would just know that there's the potential you could get some nastier storms. That's why we're calling it a first warning weather day this weekend, because of the impact from this storm system, right? Rainfall totals right now, we're looking at like 3 to 5 inches of rain, with higher amounts, possible. Yeah. So nice gusty winds, that sort of thing. Priscilla says lots of cancellations on big events. I know, and that's the part that you don't love with these weather events. Is there a risk for strong tornadoes like back in February of 07? There's definitely still a concern. We're in an El Nino winter, and so there's a little extra juice in the atmosphere. And so, yeah, those are definitely concerns of ours. Larry, good morning to you. Should Daytona Beachside be concerned about tornadoes, waterspouts, storms coming at night? Always make me nervous. Jessica, as much as I would be concerned about that, I would also be concerned about beach erosion and just the winds and conditions battering the shoreline. If tornadoes 1 to 2 max possible, I'm not going to put a number out there, man. We're going to have to watch this and see how this goes. Palm Bay going to get hit hard for right now, Melissa. It looks like Palm Bay's got a pretty good shot of getting some nasty weather for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. What would cause more severe tornado risk? Low location, triple. So the severe concern would come from shear in the atmosphere, a lifting mechanism. So like upper level divergence or diffluence, and surface convergence or confluence. So we've got some elements of that, which is why when we look to this weekend, the severe threat has gone up, will continue, I think, to probably go. Do I think that we get to a level 3 risk? We'll have to see. It's a little too early for that. But again, when we look at kind of the breakdown, there you go. For tomorrow, tornadoes and damaging winds, afternoon, evening, and overnight are going to be the time frames. All right. Any chance the storm may go straight across the state? It's going to go straight across the state, and it's going to bring us some nasty weather as it does. Christine, my pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who will get the worst of the weather, Central or South Florida? All of us. In terms of who gets like the higher threat of severe weather, the thing is not even really developed yet. So you've got to wait for the darn thing to get going before we can get an idea. Is it a little further north of guidance? Is it a little further south of guidance? Is it a little faster than guidance? Is a little slower? That's what we're waiting for at this point. This is handled forecast wise very similar to like a hurricane or a tropical storm. Like we have to wait and see how the thing forms. The models have done a great job of indicating that a storm system will be here, but now you got to wait for it to start for us to be like, okay, now we can dial in the impacts, right? Now we get it, that sort of thing. So that's what we got to do. Don't hit my car, buddy. Don't hit my car. Okay, somebody came flying into the parking lot. All right. 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. You going, I'm going to be, listen, I may be off of work, but I'm still going to be doing coffee talk. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm off the last couple of days I'm off, but here I am. We're chatting. I'm at the airport right now. I'm going to go fly with Alex here in a couple of minutes. Sean, if you have a cruise leaving this weekend, check with your port embarkation first. South Florida has ports closed. Yeah, this is going to be some crummy weather. I wouldn't be surprised if cruising gets adjusted a little bit. Yeah. All right. Any other questions about it? Anything? I want to make sure that you're good. I want to make sure you're feeling comfortable. I want to make sure that there's no big worries, right? 7-day forecast, just so that we can review this. Today, windy, clouds around, a few passing showers. Tomorrow into early Sunday, threat for severe weather is there. Then look what happens afterward. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Man, that's looking awesome. We're going to have a great stretch of weather. Y'all, It really is going to be great. Flying's been great. Love it. Love it. Yep. Flying's been great. Going to go fly again today. Wasn't able to fly yesterday. Too much wind with a bit of a crosswind. Outside of my personal envelope. And my instructor, I would have had my instructor with me, but I'm like, I'm a meteorologist and I know where my personal envelope is, and this is exceeding that. So instructor or not, if it was on the higher end of my envelope, I would have been fine to go with my instructor, but it was just too much. So yeah. All right. Sound good? Any other questions, comments? Yeah, safety first, 100%. Valerie, advice for Disney guests? Listen, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I have a reservation to go out to one of the parks tomorrow, and I probably will. But I also probably know that like 3 o'clock, probably going to be done. And I would say that midday, the rains are going to start, but through the later afternoon, it's going to get nasty, and I don't want to be in there. I may not go. I may end up doing something indoor tomorrow. I don't know. I'll see. Depends on how the model runs look tonight into tomorrow. It's going to rain, and then there's going to be a point where it's just going to be straight up gross outside. Thunderstorms, the whole 9 yards. I will also add shameless plug. I will be tweeting weather advisories and all that fun stuff. And also the Wesh 2 app. We've got push notifications, all this other stuff. So just be ready. It's going to feel like a tropical storm. That's what it is. All right? That's all. Just know that. I'm considering going to the park in the morning, maybe. Long drive back to Daytona. Yeah. Look, if you don't mind driving in the rain, then that's fine, Debbie. That's the whole thing. Brian, I'll hit you up separately. But yes. 9 a.m. in Melbourne. Yeah, I think, Angela, depending on how long, I think you'll be good up to a point. Definitely the earlier the better, though. All right? All right, friends. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I'll be posting as is needed. All right? Sound good? Sound good. Take care, y'all.